Hi again, everyone. My name is Mark Walmsley, and I'm the founder of the Arts and Culture Network. We're a growing global community of, I think, just around 160,000 now across our 8 LinkedIn groups, with over 100 people applying to join the group every day, which is very exciting. I don't get to meet everyone, as you can imagine, but when I do, it's a delight. And that is the case today because Maria Evans has joined me for our interview, and to have some fun, I'm going to be creating Maria's fantasy cultural year as well. So Maria, thank you so much for joining us as a full member recently. As you know, we're entirely member funded. To remain independent, we don't have any advertisers, sponsors, grant making bodies or shareholders. So that's how we roll. So thank you so much for being one of our full members and for joining me today.
I'm delighted to be here.
This is going to be great fun. I'm looking forward to it. So before we get cracking with your fantasy cultural year, I wonder if you'd be kind enough just to say hi to everybody. Tell us where you're based and a little bit about the work that you're doing.
Okay. So I'm a doctor, but not one of the useful ones. So I have a PhD in teaching Shakespeare. So Dr. Maria Evans, I'm based in Oxford now, and I've been here for about 8 or 9 years, but I have pretty much the rest of the time been in London, around a few other places as well. So I still feel a bit like a Londoner at heart. We'll go on holiday and people say, where are you from? And London still comes as the sort of the most automatic response. And I have what's called a portfolio career. So I do a combination of training, research and coaching.
Sounds great. I've just finished rewatching His Dark Materials, which is set in Oxford, isn't it?
Indeed. It is indeed. Yeah. Yeah.
I cry at the end of it every time. Yeah. So excellent. Now, one of the other things I like to find out about our full members is where their superpower sits. So given the fact that you're a portfolio careerist,
Yeah.
what would you suggest your superpower might be?
So this is really on the spot, Mark, because I wasn't prepared, and I like to. So I'm just sort of thinking, what is my superpower? And I think it is one of those double-edged swords in that I think maybe the thing that's characterized my career is restlessness. So in terms of it being a superpower, I think I'm just always looking for how to improve things, for how to make things better, to make them more creative, to make them more fun. So I think I'm not somebody who naturally sits still. That does have some disadvantages, not least to me, because I've done a lot of moving around. And in the old days when we had proper address books, I would get a lot of complaints about how often I was moving around before I settled in London for quite a long time. But I think that restlessness, I think sometimes when I've started working in new organizations, it's characterized by asking questions and problem solving and sort of just not accepting the status quo and sort of saying, well, is that the best way to do something? And so I don't know, off the top of my head, I think that might be.
I would summarize that as it doesn't have to be this way.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I like that summary.
That could be your location,
Yeah.
the status quo. Brilliant.
Yeah.
You've reminded me, I was interviewed recently by a marketing podcast. They wanted to know what my strategy was for building a community of 160,000. And I said negligence, procrastination, and ineptitude.
A great trio.
Yes. And here we are. Excellent. Now, ours is an arts and culture community.
Yep.
Where do your passions lie in relation to the arts and culture?
So my initial passion was drama. So I studied drama at university and I've worked for various theatre companies, but along the way discovered that my real passion is around how people learn and how we use the best of the arts to support that. So I ended up branching out into theatre education. I've also been a teacher, but again, that passion for how people learn and my constant hunger for learning has also led me eventually into the wider field beyond education, of training and coaching and so forth. So I've sort of done everything in terms of either teaching or training or coaching, from, I think the youngest is is 5-year-olds right up to, I'm trying to think who the eldest person I might have trained is, I don't know, probably, or coached, probably in their 70s. So I'm just fascinated by how people learn, and I think there's so much about arts and culture that taps into people's creativity in terms of how they think, how they learn, that can be used. So I've done a lot of work with the Royal Shakespeare Company, and I often say that if you've learned, as I have, how to put people at ease around Shakespeare, then you probably can put them at ease around almost anything. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I like that.
that's in honor of the Royal Shakespeare.
Yeah, that looks very familiar. So yeah, so I think there's so much that goes on in rehearsal rooms, in creative organizations and so forth, that can really benefit other people in terms of, as I say, how they learn, how they think about themselves.
Fantastic. So passions, I think I'll summarize those as learning, theatre and Shakespeare.
Yep, that'll do. Yep.
We could have a playoff. I did this, you've probably done this before. I did this with my wife a few weeks ago. We took it in turns to name a Shakespeare play and see who was the last person standing.
I'm happy to have a go, Mark, although my memory is not as good as it used to be.
I think we got to about 29, which wasn't bad. So,
very good, very
yeah,
good.
excellent. Okay, that's fantastic. Now, what does a day in your life look like? Are you an early riser? Are you strict with the work you do? I mean, you've got lots going on.
I have got lots of going on, and it does really vary, because one of the things I've worked really hard on in the last, well, actually for quite a long time, but certainly 5-7 years, is a degree of flexibility. So I am mostly an early riser, and I love to get out first thing in the morning with the dog. I was one of those many people that took up, I say running because I literally do the bare minimum that gets my feet off the ground. But I took up running during the first lockdown, and became really aware that that's really, really important for my mental well-being. But flexibility is also really, really important in terms of my working to support my home life, which is interesting, I suppose, would be one way of putting it, because my entire family is neurodivergent. So there needs to be a degree of flexibility, because no day ever seems to go quite as planned. And I'm playing a part in that as well. So I'm a bit of an insomniac. That's part of what how it shows up with me. So some days I just wake up and feel really, really groggy. So I try and make sure that work complements my personal life, but that also my personal life. So I've become really passionate about coaching other neurodivergent creatives, because I really want to help others who are caught up with there's absolute amazing highs, but we also know that there are some real struggles and some lows. So helping others sort of navigate their way through this neurodivergent world is something that's really, really important to me. So there is a level of routine that I quite like, that is part of what I adhere to, but I do try and leave a lot of buffer space around my day.
Yeah. I became professionally nocturnal during lockdown.
Okay.
My wife loves both an early night and to watch rubbish on the television while she's going to sleep. And I'm wide awake at night,
Yep.
10 o'clock.
Yep.
So
yep.
I found I was working, and I still do sometimes, I was working 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. and I could probably get through a bottle of wine, unfortunately, at the same time. But I found I was getting more done in those 4 hours than I was in the rest of the day. I need a kind of Churchillian nap at 4. So we're all right at the moment, by the way.
Yeah. I'm a great believer in those as well. So
I love a power nap. 7 minutes is my record.
Okay.
I set an alarm. I tested myself. I set an alarm for 7 minutes and it woke me up.
Okay.
And there's a lot
I find
of story.
the headspace meditation that lasts for 10 minutes and that sends me to sleep. It's not doing what it's supposed to, but I
Oh,
can have a really good power nap during the headspace meditation. So yeah, no,
there is an app called Calm, which I love,
I've come across that. Yeah.
and they have 20-minute short stories. And I've never heard the end of any of them.
Yes.
Excellent. Now we're going to have some fun now.
Yep.
I need to place you somewhere in the world.
Okay. Okay.
You've given me lots to work on, which is great. So could you please tell me what your favorite building is? It could be one you've visited or one you haven't and would love to.
Am I allowed to say favorite place rather than building?
Yes, you can.
Because
Yeah.
I would say, actually, no, well, favorite place, it's not a building, but what used to be called the Hungerford Bridge overlooking the River Thames, with the South Bank on your left and the rest of London, and you could head up towards Covent Garden and the West End on your left. No, so South Bank on your right. I get my left and rights muddled up. So standing on that bridge, looking at the Thames, you can see St. Paul's. That is.
There we go.
Here you go. Yep.
Yeah. Lovely. That's fantastic. That's the Hungerford. That's not it, is it? Or is it? It's next to the. That's it, isn't it?
That's the view. That's the view.
That's the view. Excellent.
Yeah, you can see the Royal Festival Hall, and then you've got the National Theatre off.
Yeah. So I'd like you to imagine you're sitting on the terrace at the Royal Festival Hall.
Okay.
And it's sunny, it's 6 p.m. You're probably going to a concert and you're enjoying a drink in the sunshine. What would we find there?
Sorry,
what drink would we find on the table next to you?
Oh, on the table. Oh, probably a Hugo Spritz, which is Prosecco, elderflower, and soda water with a lot of ice to water it down a bit.
Oh, that sounds lovely. What's it called? A Hugo
Spritz. One of my closest friends introduced me to it last year, and I've been a big fan of it since. Elderflower cordial, some soda water, and a good chunk of ice, and maybe some fresh mint.
That sounds lovely. And there's a book next to you on the table.
Yeah.
It could be your favorite book. It could be a book that's been with you all your life, changed your life.
Okay.
Recent discovery. What book would we find there next to you?
So I'm a great one that's prone to the recency effect. So I am going to talk about the book I am currently reading, but I already know I'm on chapter 8 or 9. It's just it's resonated so much, made me laugh, made me think about all the other people that find themselves in this situation. So it's Oliver Burkeman's book called Meditations for Mortals.
Nice. Meditations for Mortals.
Yeah, and it's just full of sound advice about how we navigate life in this messy, angst-ridden world, and it's just got some great ideas for keeping ourselves calm and sane.
Fantastic. I love that. Mine would be Philip Pullman again. I can remember the first time I reached the end of the third book. I was reading in the bath and I was in floods of tears. It's
a great, a big regret of mine was that I never saw it when it was on at the National.
I did.
Right.
It was that was many years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Have you read any of the prequels that he's done?
I have. I'm up to date with them, and I'm waiting for him. I think he's got one more to come out, and so yes, I'm looking forward to that.
I'm going to reread them all in order, in chronological order.
Yeah.
Plan. Excellent. Okay, so you're feeling quite pleased with yourself, Maria, because you come from a meeting in the Royal Festival Hall with wealthy London-based Family Foundation.
Okay.
And they've got wind of the work that you're doing, supporting and improving the lives of neurodivergent creatives.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
They'd like to hire you for a year.
Okay.
Everything everything at home is going to be sorted out professionally. Personally, you'll have a PA who will sort everything out. The fee is huge. Because they've recognized the value of the work that you're doing, and they would like you to travel the world and create effectively a league table of nations based on how well neurodivergent creatives are supported.
Okay. Yep.
There is a TV crew going to follow you. It's first class all the way, by the way. You'll get a TED talk out of it when you come home. You'll be given the opportunity there's a book deal, absolutely a book deal, and there is a global university lecture tour after you've
Okay.
done this. Okay.
Okay.
Does it sound like fun?
Oh, fantastic.
Doesn't it?
Although, can I go by train most of these places rather than plane? First class train.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
and
In
and,
which
and
case, in which case, I'm going to ask you for a European city,
okay.
and your
Okay.
travels will be by train all
Okay.
over Europe and Asia,
Okay.
because you can get to everywhere by train.
Yep. Fantastic. Fantastic.
So, what city would you like to start in?
I would like to start in Prague.
Prague.
Yeah.
I can just visualize Charles Bridge there.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so you're on the plane.
Yep.
No,
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 no, I'm on a train.
you're on the train.
Yep.
We did a ferry over the
Yeah, we did a ferry or Eurostar. No, I can go
Oh
on your.
yes, Eurostar. Yes,
Yep.
well, you're on Eurostar,
I am on. Yep.
and the steward comes to you. You're in a first class area. I don't know if they do them, but you're in a
That's
very
definitely do.
posh area, and they
Yep.
bring you a Hugo Spritz
Yep.
and a note from the Family Foundation.
Okay.
They've got a little challenge for you.
Okay.
And they wanted you to be on this non-stop train before to give you the note. They'd like you to limit your musical listening to one very specific genre or type of music for 12 months to the exclusion of all else.
Right.
What would you
Okay.
pick?
So a genre. It would have to be prog rock. I couldn't
Oh,
I couldn't do without Pink Floyd and early Genesis.
wow.
Supertramp.
I love doing these because that's a surprise. I didn't expect the head of Chinese art at Sotheby's to choose hip hop. I'm a big prog rock fan. Yes, Genesis. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw Genesis. I never saw Genesis, which I regret, but I saw Yes in the late 70s in the round at Wembley Arena. And that was just fantastic. My big favorite at the moment is Dream Theater.
I don't know that.
Oh
No.
my
Okay.
Lord.
Okay, I'll look that up.
Dream Theater, ER, because they're American. They sort of came out of Boston, Berkeley College of Music, but they do a live performance of Dark Side of the Moon, and it's on YouTube, and arguably it's better.
Okay. Okay. Well, I will have a look at that with my husband, who is a bit older than me and did actually see early Pink Floyd live. He remembers
Wow.
sitting at the Brighton Dome, sitting on cushions when they were,
Wow.
really early days of Pink Floyd. So so yeah,
Yeah.
we'll check it out.
Yeah, Dream Theater. They're kind of it's like they're inspired by all of those early prog rock bands, but the technical ability is just staggering. It's worth a listen.
Okay. Okay.
So where did we get to? Yes, we're on the road. So we get to Prague.
Yeah.
Okay, and you get off the train, and there's a group of young students taking you under their wing. They
Hmm.
whisk you off to an apartment overlooking the river and Charles Bridge.
Hmm.
And they say, right, we're going to come back once you've unpacked and settled in. We're going to take you to a dance performance and then out to dinner.
Okay.
Now, I have a magic wand and
Yep.
a time machine.
Yep.
Okay?
Okay.
So I can put any dance performance on that stage in front of you.
Right.
It could be a first performance or dancers who are no longer with us, for example.
Yep.
You don't
Okay.
have to remain in the local culture. You can choose anything. So if I
Okay.
could put any dance performance in front of you, what would you opt for?
So I'm allowed to go back in time and choose something. So I saw DV8 do, I think it was called Strange Fish at the Riverside Studios about 25, 30 years ago. And I would just love to be able to see that again.
Excellent. That's Hammersmith, isn't it? Riverside
Yeah.
Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's yours. There we
Yeah.
go.
Okay. Lovely.
And you get to choose the national cuisine for dinner.
Okay. Okay.
What are we going for?
Well, so it's going to be vegetarian. So the best vegetarian for me is Moroccan, Lebanese, so all of those things, Greek, so sort of hummus, tzatziki, aubergine, phyllo pastries with spinach and feta cheese, and so but lots of little things. I like, the whole sort of tapas little meze approach to things.
Nice.
That will
Love
be
that.
that will be great.
I was in Israel many years ago programming an arts festival, and we went to Jerusalem, and in Jerusalem there is a hummus restaurant, and
Okay.
that's all there is.
Wow. Wow.
It was absolutely incredible. Excellent. Right, we're going to hop on the train again now
Yep.
before you go on this year of research.
Yep. Yep.
Where are we going from Prague on the train?
So I can get to Asia. Is that right? Because, okay. So I would like to go back to, I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it's somewhere in India. Um, it's something like Jaipur, I think it was.
Jaipur.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I'd like to go there.
fine. We're going to go there. This is kind of like your prep for your year-long
Yep.
research. We're in
Yep.
Jaipur. Now it's sport day in India.
Okay. Okay.
And with breakdancing in the Olympics last year, some sport could be considered performance art. Are you a sports fan?
I used to be really into watching Wimbledon, but I just don't seem to latch onto the players in the way that I used to when I was 13. So but I do still enjoy watching tennis or gymnastics.
Okay.
I'm not particularly sporty myself.
There is the World Championships in Jaipur, tennis.
Okay.
The key
Okay.
question is, do you sit on the net or behind a player?
Oh, I think I want to sit on the net.
You will be like this for about 3
Yep.
hours all afternoon.
Yeah. 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 No, that's fine.
Now we're going to buzz again
Yep.
from Jaipur. Where are we going on the train?
So this doesn't make much sense in terms of the geography, but I've just thought of so I probably should have gone there first and then Prague and then India, but Seville.
Seville.
Yeah.
Excellent. My brother lived in Seville for 11 years. He's a cellist, and I went and he got me booked. I'm a percussionist by training, and so I
Okay.
went and played in the Royal Symphony Orchestra in Seville.
Wow.
Just wonderful. I also did the stupid thing of jogging in the park at 40 degrees.
Oh no.
Rather like you, my running, I've worked it out. I actually travel further up and down than I do forwards. It's not jogging, it's bouncing.
Yeah.
Excellent. Right, we're in Seville. Now, in Seville, in our fantasy world, there is a new digitally enhanced art gallery.
Okay.
You can put on some virtual reality glasses
Yep.
and you can step into the work of a famous artist.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
3 dimensions, it's 360 degrees. It might be animated, but you can see in 3D what the
Yep.
artist couldn't show us in 2D.
Yep.
Which famous artists' work would you want to explore in that way?
So I'm just going to go with what came into my head immediately, which is John Singer Sargent.
Nice. Now, some people might not be familiar. So, SAR. Yeah, there we go.
Geant. Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Let's just show our colleagues what a dapper
Yeah.
looking chap he is. There we go. Right, a quick taster here. So, share my screen. There he is.
Okay.
So you can walk around here, which I think is Venice.
Yep.
You can
Yep.
you can lie down with these people after their picnic in the sunshine.
Yep. Yep.
Lovely. That's great. And that's him. There we go.
Okay. Yes.
Excellent. That's a great choice. Wonderful. Now I'm going to whisk you back to London, okay, because you and I are going out every night for a week
Okay.
to do something creative or cultural.
Yep. Yep.
On Monday, we're going to a historic music concert.
Okay.
On Tuesday, we're going to a theatre play.
Okay.
I think I know where that's going. On Wednesday, we're going to a West End musical.
Okay.
Thursday, we're going to the opera. And on Friday, we're going to the movies. And between us, we can decide what we see.
Okay.
So is there, you could go to any musical event,
Okay.
past or present,
Yep.
an artist perhaps you'd love to have seen and never got the chance to.
Is this classical, popular, or
Anything you like.
anything I would like? Well, it would have to be. I would love to also have experienced Pink Floyd, you know, in the early days. So can we go to Earl's Court, where I know they performed? That
Yeah.
we can do that from London.
And we'll take your husband.
Yes. Okay.
Excellent. My big regrets are Bob Marley. I could have gone to live at the Lyceum, I think it was, in '79, and I didn't, and I should have done. Never got a chance. Now, are we going to the Globe?
We're not. We're going to go to the Barbican.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
We're going to go and watch the 1997 production of Hamlet with Alex Jennings playing the lead role, which, in my opinion, opinions are very divided, but in my opinion, was the best ever production of Hamlet. And it is one I did actually see it twice at the time, which is, given how much Shakespeare I was watching and having to watch, was a real testament to how much I wanted to go back. So yeah, I would. We're going to go and see that again.
That's great. I studied at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama in the 80s, so I was right next door to the Barbican, and I saw one of the first performances of Les Mis because it started there. So
well, that's what we're going to go and see next, because
okay, we'll stay in the Barbican and we'll go to Les Mis.
Yeah, because you said musical theatre, and yeah,
musical theatre.
So
yeah. What a
I
lovely one to do.
I didn't see it at the Barbican. I saw it when it first transferred to the West End on a very hot night in 1986.
I really do hope that they have shortened the first half, because it was an hour and 3/4 when I went. And pre-dinner, pre-show drinks start to worry you for an hour and 3/4.
Yeah.
Excellent. Are you an opera fan, Maria?
I'm not. No.
So it might be my choice then.
Okay. You tell me where we're going.
If you haven't seen lots of opera, then I think a really lovely introduction is probably Tosca.
Okay.
Puccini's Tosca. That's just wonderful.
All right, I'll go with that.
So we've been to the Opera House for that.
Yep.
Now for movie, this is fun because I'd like you to choose a movie that we'll watch together on the IMAX Waterloo Bridge.
Yep.
Best seats in the house, surround sound, all the popcorn we can eat.
Yep.
I'd like you to think of a movie that you love that I probably haven't seen.
Oh no, that's really hard because my top choice is probably you will have seen.
That's okay. I'd like to know what your top choice would be.
Well, it would be split between two. So it would either be The English Patient or the Emma Thompson Sense and Sensibility.
Nice. She got awards for that.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
One of my, I would have thrown in Interstellar, probably just for the music.
Okay.
That's the only movie I watch for the music.
Right.
Excellent. There we go. Now we're nearly there, and we're going to send you off on your lovely trip. You get all of the benefits when you get back. It's going to be great. But before you go, I'm going to give you a hero lunch, and you can. We're going to find a lovely vegetarian meze Mediterranean restaurant in London.
Yeah.
And you can invite one person. It can be anyone you like. They will come.
Okay.
Living or not, famous or otherwise.
This is actually going to make me a bit sad, but I'd like to invite my closest university friend who died 15 years ago, because she would just be fascinated by what I've done in the meantime, and I would love to have one last lunch with her.
That would be lovely. What's her first name?
Xanthi.
Xanthi. Fantastic. Now, given that you know Xanthi quite well, in a slight twist to this, who would she invite?
Well, I can't help thinking she would invite her husband, Charles.
There we go. That's it. They're all three of you.
Okay, that would be lovely.
Fantastic. Now you're on the journey, but you get a note from the Family Foundation lifting the restriction to listening to music.
Okay.
You've been listening to prog rock.
Yep.
What's the first piece of music you'd want to listen to that's not prog rock after that was lifted?
So can it be a playlist?
Yes, you can have
Can
a
I push
playlist.
the boundaries? So I have a playlist for when I listen, for when I'm doing yoga.
Oh,
Starts off with a song by Alexi Murdoch, called "Song for You," and I would want to listen if I've just had a whole period of time without that playlist. That's what I would go to first.
okay, lovely. Well, that's your fantasy cultural year. Have you enjoyed
Wow,
it, Maria?
I've loved every minute of it.
I'm going to do one more thing. We're going to very quickly play the this or that game.
Okay,
Okay. I'm going to give you
okay,
two options. They used to do this on the telly when I was a kid. I loved it. I'm going to give you two options. You have to choose one
okay,
or the other. And
okay,
it's fast paced. We don't need any explanations. Are you ready?
okay. Yep.
Sparkling or still?
Sparkling.
Mac or PC?
PC.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Radio or television?
Television.
Sandals or Crocs?
Sandals.
Heels or trainers?
Trainers.
Peas or sprouts?
Peas.
Call them or text them?
Text them.
Window or aisle seat?
Window.
Milk or dark chocolate?
Milk.
Car or motorcycle?
Car.
Boiled or fried egg?
Bride.
Comedy or horror?
Comedy. Oh, they're
Concert,
horror.
concert hall or sports stadium?
Concert hall.
Cat or dog?
Dog.
Test the water or dive in at the deep end?
Dive in at the deep end.
Great. Orange juice, bits or no bits?
Bits.
Library or museum?
Library.
Beethoven or Mozart?
Mozart.
Shower or bath?
Bath.
Cooking or being cooked for?
Being cooked for.
Sand or snow?
Sand.
Shopping online or in store?
Online.
Reggae or salsa?
Salsa.
Indoors or outdoors?
Outdoors.
Android or iPhone?
Android.
Start immediately or wait until the last minute?
Start immediately.
Science or history?
History.
New York or Los Angeles?
New York.
Early riser or night owl?
Early riser.
Messy desk or tidy desk?
Tidy.
Red or white wine, madam?
White.
Numbers or words?
Words.
Rare or well done, if you do?
I don't.
Okay. Mild or spicy?
Spicy.
Whiskey or rum?
Whiskey.
And finally, see the future or change the past?
See the future.
There we go. Wonderful. That was great fun. Thank you so much, Maria, for being a good sport and opening a window on your life. That's great. We know how you tick now.
Yes, I'll be musing on what that says about me for a while.
It's good. This has been great fun. Thank you so much for doing this. Wherever this appears, there'll be links to you and the work that you do. It'll be on YouTube and SoundCloud and Spotify and on our website and of course on LinkedIn. So thank you once again for being one of our full members and for joining me for this today. Please don't dash off, but for the time being, Maria, thank you very much indeed.
It's been great fun.